Hey, 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 party people. It's Brandi and Cesley, and we're back with Blooming Through Faith, the podcast that helps you grow and bloom in your mindset, lifestyle, health, and wealth. We want you to know that you are capable, beautiful, and worthy. Hey, Grow Girls. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 things to stop doing in 2025 if you want to live your best life. Okay. We are moving into 2025 with new ambition, new confidence, instead of adding resolutions. We at Blooming Through Faith are not a fan of New Year's resolutions. Okay. We are
Nope.
not. We're not going to talk about them. We're not going to set them. Instead, we're going to
I like
remove
'em.
things from our life in 2025 and maybe set some goals, and we can talk about that later. Okay. We are going to be removing things that are toxic and that are keeping you down. This is big. We are removing toxic-ish from your life. See, I didn't cuss there. All right.
So proud of you.
Small changes. Okay. You might. Okay, guys. I'm like, I just didn't cuss. That was rude for me. All right, girls.
You're like, but I really wanted to.
I really did. And now I'm weirded out about it that I
I
didn't.
don't
It
do
caught me
it.
off guard.
You do you, boo. You do you.
You, all right, ladies, you might think the things that we're going to talk about are basic, and you might be thinking that you do these things, but are you taking ownership of these
Mm.
things that might be stopping you from the life you want to live? Okay, this is very important. You have to take ownership of the things you want to change in your life and give yourself permission to make these changes. Take ownership, give yourself permission, and then guess what? We're going to make some changes. You are not stuck. You are not a victim of your circumstances.
Preach. That was a lot. And we just started. Like, listen, okay. Do you want to have more peace in your life? Like, do you wonder why you have anxiety? You have depression? Do you want to reach for big things? Or are you okay settling for average? Like, I feel like this is going to be an episode where we're just going to be really
Mm,
real with you. Like, are you settling for average in your life? And we talk about it all the time, but do you want to settle for less? Like, do you want to hang out around people who gossip? Do you want to hang out around people who make you feel like you're not enough? Like, look at your day-to-day life and think about, like, hey, even if you're thinking like, oh, this year went pretty good. Like, it went okay for me. Did you move the needle closer to your goals? Like, do you have big dreams? Did you get there? And if not, are you taking inventory of your life and saying, like, oh, what do I want for my life? Do you want to experience a phenomenal life? Like, you have the opportunity in this next year to meet the greatest version of you possible. So you have a choice right here, right now. You can continue to accept what you've been accepting. Just be like, I'm just going to keep on keeping on. All right. Or you can decide to leave certain things in 2024 and move towards a more amazing, more fulfilled life in 2025. And so we're going to help you do that in this episode. We're going to list out the 5 things that we think you should just chuck in the garbage bin in this next year.
just chuck it and
Chuck
have
it.
your husband
That's
take
weird when
the
I said it. I was
garbage out.
like, chuck it in the garbage bin. I
I
don't
love
take out
that.
the garbage at my house. Oh,
I
I don't.
don't either. Nope, that's Mitchell's
That's
job.
a man job.
Both show. All right. Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like, can I do some of these things as a woman? Yes. Do I want to? No. No. That's why I love my big old hunky man. All right. So here's what we are doing. All right. This is the first thing, and this is this most serious. I feel like because a lot this could be hard. But you know what we're gonna do? We are gonna give up investing in relationships that are one-sided. That is not a good relationship. All right. You should not be doing all of the things and not getting anything back, whether this is a family relationship, whether this is a spouse, whether this is a friendship. It should be two-sided. All right. So quit investing in one-sided relationships. You have to set a standard for your life. All right. And while I know that we feel like, okay, we feel like we need people to be there. All right, all the time for different situations. One sided relationships will ruin your self esteem, your vision, your mission, and your idea of a friendship. All right, so a lot of times we hold on to these one sided relationships and we just got to let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm the worst at this. I will say, like, this is a hard one for me because I am a loyalist. I am so loyal. And I have friends that people have asked me all the time, why are you still doing things for them? And I'm like, I don't know. But not
Yeah.
this year, not in 2025.
Not in
Actually, I stopped doing that this
2025.
past year. I did
That's
good.
what Mitch and I just talked about actually.
Yeah.
'Cause you are too nice. You do this, and I got a lot of like one-sided relationships in my life that
Mm-hmm.
it gonna be
Yep.
changing. We are changing it in 2025. And a lot of times that's a trauma response too. It's like you want to please
Yes.
people, you want to be there for everybody, you don't want to lose anybody. But if they're
Mm-hmm.
not bringing any value into your life, what are you actually losing?
Oh
Right?
yeah. And
People
I
need
think, oh, okay, I'll go. And I think just like what you just said about it being a trauma response, I think also when you've been through so much trauma, you like to make other people happy. Like it's not like an ingenuine thing. Like you want to see other people happy. You want to help other people because maybe when you needed it, people didn't help you. So you don't even like you might not even realize that you're involved in one-sided relationships because you're just like, I just want to help people.
And think about it this way, right? Like, so when your friend needs something, do you automatically call them? Are you there for them? But then when you need something, they don't answer the phone. They
Mm-hmm.
don't come to support you. You start a new business, they have a business and you buying their shit, right? You're on it. You're like, I'm gonna support you, I'm there for you, whatever. And then instead of getting the leggings from you, they be getting the leggings from Target instead of you. Like that is not okay. We are going to have
Yeah.
relationships to where we support each other. And here's the thing, if they're not going to support you, that's fine. You don't have to support them. But it doesn't need to be you the entire time taking care of other people and them not loving on and pouring into you too. That's just, it creates
Amen.
resentment,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of times, like we have a good heart, like bro girls, you have a good heart. But at the same time, you have to set those boundaries because you can't continue to give to others without anything in return. Period. Point blank. All right, let me finish up this one real quick. All right. So this is a quote from Trent Shelton. We love him so much. And basically, what I was just saying, don't let your good heart and good intentions and being a good person keep you in situations that are ruining your life. That is so
Yeah.
powerful. I'm going to say that one more time, okay? Don't let your good heart and your good intentions and being a good person keep you in situations that are ruining your life. And then when you start to set these boundaries with people who might be one sided friendships or whatever, and they start to get upset with you, that's going to happen because they're
Yeah.
used to using you. They're used to you being at their beck and call. They're used to that. And then you're going to set these boundaries and they might be mean. And guess again, that's not real friends. You
Yeah.
need to find real friends that want to pour into you, that is a two-sided relationship, that answer the phone when you call, right? All right, God doesn't call us to be taken advantage of. He calls us to be kind, to be accountable, and to point people towards him. And the enemy will use people around you
Mhm.
to slow you down and to bring you out of your peace. All right, the
Mm.
devil wants you stuck and dependent on these bad friendships. All right, if the people around you aren't lifting you up and supporting you, then they are not your friends. Period.
Mhm.
Point blank. True friends support each other. Okay. You can
Yep.
still be there for people, friends, family, people you love and care about, but they don't deserve that top billing in your life if they aren't lifting you up and supporting you. Does that make sense? So, like, you can still be there for them, you can
Yeah.
still support them, but you're not going to go above and beyond and continue to answer their call if it's not a convenient time for you, or get them tons of gifts if they don't do that
Stop
for
doing
you.
them favors. Stop doing them favors. Stop
Yeah,
it.
you have got to. And here's the thing too, is you that do fill your cup and invest in you and spend more time with those people. You don't
Yeah.
have to have 50 friends. Okay.
That's
You
exhausting, by the way,
It's so
also. If you have
exhausting.
real friends, like if you have really, really good friends, you will learn as we kind of transition you into this phase of having great relationships and great friendships, you're going to learn that a little is a lot. Okay. I don't have time for 50 friends. When people are like, oh, I have so many friends, I'm like, no, you do not.
Not real
You have,
friends.
you have a lot of acquaintances.
100%. It's all about
No time for
quality. Quality over quantity is what we'd like to say. And if you have those real true friends, spend more time with them. The people
Yeah.
you surround yourself with matter. Your circle matters. What is that thing that they say? You are most like the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. What I like to do, I like to surround myself with kind people,
Millionaires,
respectful people.
people that
Yeah,
are
bring on the millionaires.
kind people, doctors, maybe that'll soak in. I'm just kidding. I don't actually mean that, but it's not a terrible thing. She's not wrong though. My favorite thing that Brandy said is that, you can still be there for people. Like, we're not telling you like cut people out of your life. Okay. Don't have like your auntie and your friends calling us because we told you
Yes,
to.
don't just cut people out of your life.
Brandy
Just set
and
better
Cesley say,
boundaries.
I'm not supposed to be friends with you anymore. No, but you should just pay attention to these things. Pay attention to like, if you were to stop calling somebody, would they call you? Would they check on you? Like, just
Ooh,
test it.
that's
Like,
good.
don't call somebody for maybe a month, 2 months. See if you hear from them. Okay? If you don't, it's you are in a one-sided relationship, okay? And this goes for like boyfriends and stuff too, okay? If you're in a relationship and somebody's not calling you back, stop calling them, okay? All right, we're gonna move
Yeah,
on to
for
number two.
sure.
Yeah. Number two, it really kind of plays on number one. So in 2025, we are going to give up choosing someone else's peace over ours. Okay,
Ooh,
so
baby,
just
that's a
like
good
there's a
one.
whole theme on what we're talking about today, and it's relationships. So one, we're giving up one-sided relationships. Number two, we're going to give up choosing other people's peace over our peace. All right, we're going to stop being a people pleaser. Okay. I think this is hard for a lot of us because we want to be seen as good in other people's eyes, right? We want people to think that we're good people. But at the end of the day, if somebody's like say so in your reputation depends on what you give them or not, or
Mm.
depends on like how they can use you or not, just like what Brandi was talking about, I wouldn't be concerned about that because at the end of the day, the only one I'm trying to please is God and my family and to do what God wants to use me for. So even in the smallest form, like you might not even realize that you're in a relationship that is one-sided where you're picking people's peace over yours. Like it could be little things that you don't even see. You have to give yourself, and this is really important, you have to give yourself active permission to stop pleasing other people,
Mm.
right? People pleasing is a selfish behavior. I say this a lot. I mean it a lot. It's something that we do because we don't like confrontation, right? We don't like conflict. We don't want to deal with a problem. All right. This is just another thing that you need to start. If you want to level up in your life, if you want to level up in your business, in your personal life, in your dreams, in your goals, like you have to start being comfortable with healthy and honest accountability and confrontation. You cannot be a people pleaser. So I want you to stop and think like, do I do this? Am I worried about someone else's peace? And am I getting more anxiety over this? Like, am I hurting myself just to please someone else? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy, but we do it a lot. So you really, really have to stop protecting everybody's peace because at some point, you got to let people know what your boundaries are, right? Like, you got to tell them what it is in the like most simplest form that I can put it. You got to let them know because if you never draw that line, then they're never going to respect you and they're never going to respect the boundaries that you set, right? How often have you had a conversation with someone and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that that bothered you. I didn't know." Like that's a great excuse once. But you're going to know the type of relationship you're in with somebody, friendship, work-wise, career-wise, spouse. You're going to know the type of relationship that you're in the second that you start to set a boundary. And if they're constantly using the excuse, "Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know you felt that way. Oh, I didn't know you felt that way." If you never told them, it's your fault. If you've told them, it's time to
100%.
break away.
100%. So that's a good thing, Cecily. Sorry to cut you off, but I just want to make
Do
sure
it.
you heard that. If you don't express your boundaries, if you don't talk to people, like if something happens and you're like, hey, dude, like, I really didn't appreciate you being passive aggressive towards me.
Yeah.
And there's so many people who are passive aggressive towards me that are in my life. And I think it's their own insecurities. Like, I cannot
Yeah.
stand passive aggressiveness, but I call people out. Like, dude,
Yeah.
like, listen, we're working together. Like the way you communicated to me is not okay. And then if that happens again, okay, I see you do not
Yeah.
respect me. Cool. Our relationship changes. My boundaries don't. I'm
Right.
not gonna have somebody be disrespectful to me and talk to me, a certain way. But if you do not communicate that and you continue to let it happen, there's no boundaries there. You can't get mad at those people. You got to be mad at yourself for not
Yep.
setting those and not communicating.
Yeah. And you have to know that like you can change. Like you're talking to two of the used to be biggest people pleasers in the world, right? Because we have big hearts. We wanted to make people happy. And I would say that we've both grown a lot in terms of boundaries. Like there's a lot of times when Brandi and I have a conversation and maybe we don't notice how the other one says something and it's a very quick conversation because it's, "Hey, you said that. I didn't like it." And it's like, "I totally didn't realize that. Thank you for letting me know." And then you move on. Right. But if you have that conversation with someone and they're not able to move on, then you need to cut and run. Like it's time to cut off that relationship because we as people have so many relationships that are just weighing us down because we're not willing to let go of people who are not bringing us peace because we care so much more about their peace than our own peace. That's crazy. Like that's crazy. You were born to be the greatest version of yourself. Like God didn't create you so that you could be like mediocre and make everybody else happy, right? You were born to please your creator. They did not create you. They did not make you, they did not raise you. So stop allowing them to like create this narrative in your life. Just stop it. And now I sound like I'm scolding you guys. I'm not, but seriously, stop it. Like, you have to stop doing
Yeah.
that. And I want you to think about too, like, if this is something that's triggering for you and you're like, oh, I feel convicted on this point, think about, when did you decide to choose other people's peace over your own? Like,
Mhm.
when did you allow other people's bondage and their bad behavior and their bad habits and their own traumas, what they've been through, whatever, outweigh your own good judgment? Because I would think that anyone that's listening to this podcast, they're wanting to better themselves. They care about self-development, right? They care about themselves, right? So when did you start letting other people's bad behavior outweigh your own good judgment? When did you stop being confident in your own judgment? Okay. Think about that as we kind of go into this next year. So I want you to just affirm right now, we are not going to be people pleasers anymore. Okay. We're not going to walk around trying to please everybody. That's not happening, because it's got nothing to do with anything, but all it does is it leaves us just feeling empty. So we're not going to keep chasing people. We're not going to keep
Mm.
pleasing people. It's just going to leave you lonely.
Also on that, I feel like, and the next thing that I'm gonna talk about is like giving up gossip and grudges, like us not doing that. But also when there are people who are gossiping about you that are mean to you and you're seeing that, don't just let it go. So I'll use an example. Like, I've helped so many people in my life, and there's so many times that these people that I've literally gone bent over backwards for, given thousands of dollars to, did these things, talk shit about me behind my back. And I'm like, and that would
Crazy.
drive me crazy, Cecily. It would eat me alive. And then I would still be nice to these people because I'm like, it's okay.
You're nicer than
These,
me.
yeah, like true colors will come out. Like, and it's these people's
Yeah.
insecurities, like these other trainers, I will say, who I had helped. And then I started a business, and they were talking ish because they were thinking that people were going to, come with me versus them, whatever. But they would have never even had a business if it wasn't for me, which
Yeah.
is so funny. And then so for me, it ate me up because I was like, well, why are they like, I've been a trainer for longer. I'm educated. Like, everything I do with my heart. Everything I
Yeah.
do is for people. Nothing I am all about people over profit, and God
Yeah.
provides, period, point blank. So then I had to realize, and I'm telling you guys this because I'm sure you guys are going through similar things, right? Then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And I have that tattooed on my foot if you guys don't know this. But like, that's why.
Yes.
I sure do. And I'm like, I know who I am. God created me. I know that every single move I make in life is a good
Mhm.
move. I know that I am constantly doing the right thing. I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal. These people who are saying these things, it's their own insecurities, it's their own issues, it's whatever. It's
Yeah.
like, not what have you done for me, in the past. It's like, what have you done for me lately, right? So people forget
Yeah.
that. Honestly, people forget the things that we've done for them in the past. And then they just like, oh, well, she's not really helping me now. So I'm just going to like
Mhm.
say all this bullshit and lie and whatever. I mean, I'm very passionate about this because this has happened to me numerous times, and I don't
Yeah.
get it. It's because you want to know why, Cecily? Because I'm a nice person. Because I'm a
Yeah.
nice person. Because people know they can say whatever they want. I'm always going to be the bigger person on social media. I'm always going to be the bigger person in life. But I'm sure you guys have gone through this. So, like, if you have people who were your friends or work
Mhm.
with you or whatever the circumstances are that say anything bad about you
Yeah.
or judge like your character, screw them. Like Cecily said, cut and run because
Yeah.
they're not genuine, and you do not need those people in your life.
And also, like, on what Brandy just said, because this something like this just happened to me the other day, and this is not, and it wasn't directly about me, but you need to also be confident in, just like Brandy had mentioned it kind of in passing, but calling it out. You have to be willing to call it out. You have to like put your big girl panties on. Okay. I know we don't like confrontation. We don't want to do it, but this is one thing that someone taught me a while back, and it really stuck with me. And they just said, if the Lord has taught you better, then you have to do better. And so, like, for me, I know I'm a lot further in my sanctification than a lot of people. There's a lot of people who don't know better. They haven't been taught better. They haven't been shown better. They grew up in these circles. This is just how they know that you're supposed to act, right? Like, most women aren't very kind to other women. We've talked about this. And that's because this is how they've grown up, right? So I was at
Mhm.
my daughter's gymnastics class 2 days ago, and I'm sitting at a table with these other moms, and I don't actually know them. I'm just kind of sitting at the table with them, and I'm listening to them talk about how one girl comes up and she goes, what's wrong with your daughter? Why is she crying? And she was like, well, I told her that she should be nice to this other girl in the gymnastics class. And she told me that they're not really friends anymore. And now she's upset because I told her she had to talk to her. But I guess she doesn't really have to talk to her. Like, that's just girl things. Like, they go through it, and, you know, it's just girl relationships. I think they're just not friends anymore. She is kind of annoying. Like, they're sitting here talking about like a child, literally this little girl talking about how they can't believe that their daughters have to interact with this child who's having a meltdown. And well, that's just girl relationships. You know, they're friends one day, they're not the next. I'm like, if that was my daughter, I would have stormed in there and been like, if you're not kind to this little girl, I swear to you, like the consequences that you will see will not be good for you. And the fact that these grown women are sitting here encouraging it. So a lot of times people don't know. Like, they really have just grown up in this toxic, disgusting society where it's okay to put yourself above others. And if you know better, you have to do better. So, like, Brandi knows, because I know these people that she's talking about. And when they publicly say things, I'm the first to say, like, well, that's not nice. Like, why are you saying that? Why are you talking like that? Like, that's not who you want to be, right? That's not who you want to be known for. So why are you speaking like that? So if you see other people doing that and being that person, like, you do have a responsibility to speak up and say, don't do that. It's ugly. You look
And
ugly.
that's what, like, in a heartbeat, Cecily and I, especially when it comes to protecting the people that we care about, because a few people that we care about were attacked on social media, and we were like, oh, hell no.
Nuts. I
We're
became a
not
keyboard warrior.
doing this mean girl shit, mean
Mhm.
boy shit, because it was a lot of boys, like losers. Like, let's just even talk about,
Yeah.
like, if you are a man and you post like gossip on social media, come on. What are you actually doing with your life? Like, I can't
This
with you.
one of the girls.
Can't with you. All right, let's move on. And the baby did wake up. So I'm
So
like,
we on borrowed
it's
time, you guys.
okay. We're on borrowed time, Kay. Just lay there a little bit longer. All right. So on what we were just talking about, number 3 is we're giving up gossip or giving up holding grudges. Okay. Here's the deal. If you want to say something bad about somebody else, think for a second, like, let's give them grace. Let's not assume. Let's not jump to our friend and start bashing somebody else. That's putting negative energy in the world. And guess what? It's not going to change anything. Okay. And
Yeah.
also, you can't build something real off of something that's fake. Fake
Mhm.
connections will not build real success. Okay. Will not build real relationships, will not build real friendships. You can't build something solid from something that's fake. If you're pretending to be okay with someone or like someone or tolerate someone for the sake of success, because that's not genuine and it's not going to last. You don't have to be friends with everybody. We're not
Yeah.
everybody's cup of tea. We all have different values and morals and all kinds of different stuff. So, like, seriously, if you're not jiving with someone, you're not jiving with somebody. It's okay. You don't have to be fake
Yeah.
about it, right? And you don't have to talk about them. Don't talk about anybody.
Mhm.
Again, everybody's uniquely, beautifully made. If we don't like the way somebody wears something or does something or whatever it is, why talk about them? That
Someone else will like them. You don't have
Hey,
to
they
worry about it.
have a group, right? Like, it's your own insecurities grow, girls. If
Mhm.
you find yourself gossiping a lot about people, I need you to like look inner, look at your inner self. All right. What's going on? Because you are beautiful, you are capable,
Yeah.
you are strong, you are wonderful. Don't compare yourself to any other woman and do not gossip about any other woman. All right. And the next thing is you've gotta let go and let God. If someone has hurt you unintentionally, you have to bring it up to them and make peace with it. All right. So if somebody
Mhm.
has said something, it could be unintentional. You've got to make peace with it versus holding a grudge. Holding on to that is like poison. That person, here's the deal, that person might have not known, right? And they didn't mean
Yeah.
it. So they're not thinking about it. They're not losing sleep at night. You're losing sleep at night. Or maybe if they did, they don't care if they did something mean to you. Again, they're not losing sleep at night. You are. It's like you're drinking the poison, right?
Right.
You have to bring it up to them. But more importantly, you gotta let it go. You have to let it go and give it to God and trust that He knows exactly why that interaction needed to happen. And what are you gonna do next? Like, what is your next step? We might be I don't even,
Yeah.
I don't even, I can't say it, but like literally, guys, we've got to let go of some of this to really heal. We've
Yeah.
got to let go and let God to heal.
And you don't know like where someone's at in their journey is the thing. Like, you have no idea where someone's at in their journey. And so like God might have put you there to be the catalyst for them to change. Like, if they're sitting there and they're doing these things that are not okay, and you know that you can say it to them kindly, right?
Mhm.
You have a responsibility to do that because you could be the first step in them seeing like Christ-like character, right? Like look back in your memory and think about the first person that treated you differently or talked to you differently or was kind to you. Like you remember those people, right? But instead, we like to like hold a grudge and we like to think like, oh, it's not a big enough deal for me to say something, but you're thinking about it. And if you're
Mhm.
thinking about it, then you're going to sit with it. And then it's going to cause you to do more things that are out of character for yourself. Like if I have a grudge against someone, I'm going to start thinking badly about them. And the next time I see them, I'm less likely to be nice to them because I'm like, I already have like a thing with you. I don't like you. I don't know. Stop doing that. Yeah. Give up gossip. It's gross. And last thing on that is a lot of times when we gossip, we present it as like, oh, this is not gossip. I'm just telling you guys what happened. Don't tell people what happened unless they can help directly. Don't worry about it. You don't need.
Put this out here too. If somebody tells you something, can tell another person what are you
No,
doing?
that's
So if
gossip.
somebody comes to you, so if somebody was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't really love how Cecily shows up on. I don't love this. I don't love that. Like she's X, Y, and Z." Do you think
Yeah.
I'm gonna go tell Cecily that? No. Why? And by the way, nobody
She's gonna
said
be
that.
like, shut up.
Listen, this is just an example. Nobody said that. But what I'm saying is, why in the world, like whoever said that to me, that is their
Yeah.
own perception. That is their own issue. Okay. And I'm gonna say, whatever. I love it. I love how she shows up, right? Because I'm going
Yeah.
to support that person. I'm never gonna jump in and bash or talk bad about. But some people then go and run and tell that person. What in the world does that do? That hurts Cecily's feelings.
Yep.
Cecily's questioning how she shows up on social media, and now Cecily's mad at that person. Stop, girl.
I mean, Cecily is confident, so Cecily's not worried about it.
And here's the thing is like you gotta build trust. When somebody
Yeah.
tells you something, it doesn't mean it needs to be told to somebody else. It doesn't
That's
mean
right.
it's needed. Just
100%. And a lot of times
friend that
people
is
want to use that as a
trustworthy.
mouthpiece. Like
Mhm.
they want you to share it. They want to perpetuate it. Don't give them the time of day. All right. Number 4, we're almost done, y'all. Number 4, we are giving up the things that aren't God's plan for our life. Okay. So, like, I don't know if you're this person. I don't know if you fear missing out on an opportunity. You should never fear missing an opportunity that's not yours, right? Any opportunity that does not find your life is not meant for your life. Any opportunity that does not stay in your life is not meant for your life. You have to understand that there is a greater plan that is bigger for you than what you've got going on right now. You have to trust more. You have to have more faith. So I want you to just think about like what are your trigger points in your life that give you stress, that give you anxiety, that give you stress, that are adding to your plate? Like what are you allowing people to tell you that you're supposed to do? Does that make sense? Right? So like what are you allowing people to tell you that you're supposed to do? You'll never move forward in what God has for you, the opportunity He has for you to make an impact, to share your giftings, to share your story. If you've convinced yourself of this lie that you're supposed to be doing all these other things, right? So, right now in your life, in the next year, I really, really want to make sure that you are giving up just anything. This could be work related, this could be activity related, this could be people. Giving up any of the things that aren't what God has meant for your life. So look at all of the successful people that you see, right? Maybe it's a business mentor, maybe it's a pastor that you know, maybe it's someone who you follow on social media. I don't know. Look at the most successful people you see. They are not questioning their mission, their vision, their purpose, their career, their business. They're not questioning their family because they are laser focused, right? They don't say yes to the okay things so that they can say yes to the amazing things. So the biggest thing on this point is you have to create a vision for your life. And we've talked about this before, so I'm just going to touch it briefly, but like in my life, I have a vision for my career. I have a vision for my family. I have a vision for my friends. So like I talked about this a little bit on social media the other day. My vision for my kids is that they grow up to be life-changing disciples that love Jesus and love others well. If there's something surrounding that that doesn't add to that, I can cut it out of my life. I'm going to stop doing things for my kids that don't apply to that. Is my son a stellar athlete that's probably going to be a professional baseball player? No. If he was, and that was part of the vision for our life, we'd make time for baseball things. We don't play baseball because they don't like it, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. We make time for the things that fit the vision of our life. So, just the last thing I want to say on this is life is too short to chase things, jobs, opportunities, people that aren't meant to be in your life. Life is too short to lose yourself trying to win somebody over, to lose yourself trying to make somebody love you, make somebody like you, make somebody respect you, get this job, get that career opportunity. If you've ever looked at the times when you're chasing something, it hasn't gotten you where you need to be. Like I look at Brandi and this opportunity that she just took on with starting this new business. She wasn't looking for something. She wasn't searching for something new. She wasn't chasing down this opportunity. God brought it to her. And then she said, okay, I'm going to now do the work to fulfill this vision that God has given me. So, yes, you have to work hard. You have to have a vision. You have to believe in yourself. But there's not one time that you will find me chasing an idea, because over time, I've learned that when it's truly God's calling, He paves the way. He will move things out of the way to make it happen. And when you're trying to do something yourself that you're not meant to do, that God doesn't have a vision for you, it's going to feel hard. Like it's just going to feel like too much work, too much stress. Brandi and I have both been there with the same company. Like it felt so hard. It was so much work. I don't feel that way now. I work the same amount of hours as I did before, but I don't feel that way because I'm truly doing what God has called me to do. Brandi just told me this morning that she felt so blessed, so incredible because she's stepped into this calling and God paved the way. So we're going to give up anything in our life that is stopping us from what God has for us.
Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. That is so good. So you guys have baby Cade. So we're just gonna finish this podcast because
We
we
did say
can
we're
go
moms,
back.
right?
Yeah. So he's
So
on my lap while we finish up. So if you hear a baby, that would be the reason why. So the last thing that we are giving up in 2025 is we are giving up the excuse of busyness. All right. We talked about this in the last podcast. When we decide that being busy means being successful, we settle for less. All right.
mm,
It's so true. And I hate that hustle culture. All right. So you do not have to work a million
mhm.
hours and be busy 24/7 to be successful. We're doing things that make us feel valued by others instead of letting some people down. All right. So by saying no to the things that you don't deserve, your fan, I don't know. I'm like, the baby is like, here.
Baby Kate is doing so great.
I know,
Yeah.
baby Cade.
You
So
gotta sometimes you gotta let people down, okay? And that's okay. You gotta let people down by saying no to the things that don't serve you, that don't serve your family, that don't serve God. Like, it's okay. You need to give up the excuse of like, oh, I'm so busy, I can't do what I want to do in my life. Like, no, you just like being valued by others. You just
mhm.
like letting other people dictate your life instead of saying, no, that doesn't really serve me. That doesn't serve my kids. That doesn't serve my family. You'd be shocked by the faces that I get. I didn't mean to hijack your point, Brandy, but you'd be shocked by the faces that I get when I tell people like, "Oh, no, I won't be going to that." And people are like, "Oh, are you busy?" I'm like, "No, I just won't be going to that. It doesn't
Because
it's
you
not
don't have to
something I
say
can
yes
go
to
to." Yeah,
everything.
I just
Hey,
no.
like we talked about in the last podcast, no is a complete sentence, and you can have JOMO, the joy of missing out. You do not have to say yes
Jomo.
to everything. We only have X amount of hours in the day, but what we do with them is so important.
Yeah.
We are in control of our calendar. We are in control of the hours in our day and what we do, right? We don't have to say yes to everything because we are giving up people pleasing in 2025, right? It's
Yep.
time. Okay, stop it. It's time in 2025 to be okay with disappointing others sometimes by saying no to things and that are keeping you busy and distracted from your purpose. All right. So think about what that vision is, what your purpose is, what you want to do in life, and do the things that get you closer to your vision and your goals. All right. What areas in your life are you settling for less? Have you accepted less when you know that you deserve more? All right. So think about that for a second. In those areas of your life, are you accepting less than you deserve? All right. Being busy just leads to suffering, and you have got to stop that. All right. You've got to just stop filling every single hour of your day. And also think about like your kids too. Like I'm thinking about my kids at this age. I'm like, does Troy have to play a sport because he's about to be in the sports, at 5 every single season? Maybe we figure out what fills his cup with the sports. Maybe he really likes one and we take a season off for two. Bless you. But I see so many moms and filling schedules with like sports and this and that and whatever. You bless you. This is just
God bless you.
podcast we've ever done. Anyways, I'm about to mute myself and I am about to let Cecily take over and land this plane. But we are totally giving up the excuse of being busy and we are looking at our calendar and we are filling our calendar with things that fill our cup and fill our vision.
Yes. And here's the thing, like, I just want to point out that we are also recording episodes of our podcast with babies on our laps. Okay. When there are things that you have a vision for, that you have a passion for, like, you make it happen and make it work. This is just real life. Okay. I guarantee you, you're probably, well, some of us did cuss a lot in this episode. So hopefully you're not listening to this with your like older children, but with your babies. We have a lot of friends who have babies. So maybe you're listening to this with your babies in the car so you understand what we're struggling with. Okay. Like, if
Well,
you
you
want,
know what? Now you just made me never want to cuss on this podcast because I don't mind cussing around my children, but I do feel bad cussing around other people's children. So sorry, this might be the last episode where I'm cussing.
what I was going to say was like, maybe you're like us and you've got your kids around all the time. But then I was like, Randy went off on that tangent about something. So maybe you didn't have your kids in the car, but you probably did. And you know what? This is just good education for them. All right. Good education. So we're going to land this plane, y'all. One, we want you to have more joy in 2025. We want you to love what you do. Okay. So if you want more peace, if you want to experience a phenomenal life, we're going to just recap these 5. So one, we're going to quit investing in relationships that are one-sided. We don't need them. We don't want them. They're draining you of your energy, your joy, your confidence. All right. You have to invest your time in other things. All right. Number 2, we are giving up choosing other people's peace over ours. All right. We are not here to please people. We are here to please our creator and to live incredible lives. Right. Number 3, we're going to give up gossip and grudges. All right. It's just not serving you. Right. We don't want to sit there and talk about somebody when we could go to the person and solve something with them. We have to let go and let God. Okay. And speaking of that, number 4, we're going to give up things that are not God's plan for us or our life. We're going to just get rid of all the excess, okay? All the access that you're chasing after. You're chasing these opportunities, these jobs, these people that are not serving what God's plan is for you. We're going to allow God to pave the way for what you are meant for. And then number 5, we're going to give up the excuse of busyness. And I think it's the greatest thing of all time that Brandi talked about giving up the excuse of busyness, because we're sitting here recording this episode and we got babies and we got careers and we've got businesses and we just make it happen. So, when we're busy, our purpose seems to come second rate to the to-do list, and that's never a good thing. We want you to feel confident in loving yourself and loving your purpose. So those are our top 5 things that we are going to give up in 2025. And so on behalf of Brandi and baby Cade and me, we want you to remember that you are capable, you are worthy, you are beautiful, and we can't wait to watch you grow, girl.